Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mythic Legions Gawrychh, the unpredictable, and predictably, I know nothing about this figure. But again, I thought it was really cool. I kind of mentioned on the last figure that I did that this was a 2-pack for Legions Con. It is available at BBTS if you are interested. I didn't have the money back then. It's also like $130, $135 for the 2-pack on BBTS. These are $37 each on storehorseman.com. So I didn't need the extra head, especially not for that price. I just didn't think, and for me, it wasn't worth it. But I really wanted these figures because I think they're actually pretty damn cool. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this guy, and unfortunately, this ring light is always going to be a problem. But he does have 2 extra heads. He's got 2 swords on him. We're going to take a look at the buck, some antlers or something like that, I guess you could say. Here on the side, it tells you all about it. You can probably pause that and read it if need be. And then on the back, we can kind of see a nice little cross cell and whatever wave this is part of. Again, Mythic Legions, one thing I absolutely love about it. And again, this is something that you're only going to find in a toy store, a comic store. They have a slip cover, so you can just open this up, slide it off. You do have to cut off the wire on it, but who really cares? You can always package it back up if you want to resell it, or that's just how you want to display it. I don't know why you want to display your figures in a box, but hey, you do you. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this guy. We're going to go over his articulation, the accessories, the paint, which is what I always tell you about. So let's just get into this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like this Mythic Legion stuff, you're like, hey, this is actually pretty good stuff, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. Alright, so I got him out, and I gotta say, he comes with so much more than what I was expecting, because you couldn't see the tray behind it. So quickly, we'll go over the accessories or everything it comes with first. So the first thing that we could see is this cat head with these wonderful green eyes, this war paint, or maybe it's not war paint, but it sure looks like it. His little gray goatee that's kind of sitting right there. The paint looks fantastic on this. It really does look, I mean, it could almost be flocked in many ways, just when you're looking at that detail and the way they do the paint. But I absolutely love the different colors on it. And as always, you don't see anything messed up on it. It looks really good. So this is one of the alternative heads. And then we get this Mandalorian head, which I didn't even notice. Now, maybe, I'm sure it's in the solicitation. Again, I just saw this original 2-pack, and I really like these 2 main figures. So here we go. Again, I almost want to order another one so I can set this up as a completely different character. So on the side here, you can see this opening. That is so you can put these antlers if you want, or you can just remove them. You don't have to really worry too much about them. But you got this nice piece where it clearly looks like it's a visor in there. You can't see any eyes, but that doesn't really bother me, nor should you be able to. It's going to be more like a knight's mask. This wonderful paint job. As you can see, the way it just kind of runs down. No issues there. I don't see any type of paint rub. Alright. And then just the detail that kind of sculpts it back. So, a really good looking mask head sculpt. Really happy. Really excited about this. You got 2 swords, which we saw in it. They're the exact same, so we'll only take a look at one. So we got the short. First, we're looking at the sheath. Now here you can see that it's obviously going to plug into. Well, I thought it plugged in. It clips onto something. I should have known. I have more than enough of these, and I'm pretty sure I actually have this sword with another figure. But anyway, nice green. We got our nice little design right there, and then you're obviously going to have your blade. I'm sorry, your handle, which has what's supposed to look like a cross. I would assume this is like leather that goes across. There's your guard for it, and then there's just the counterweight or whatever it is that it's actually called. And then it comes out, and even looking at that blade, it looks real nice. That line right down the middle. These things are straight. All right, so they do have flexibility, but they go right back to where they need to be. They are sharp. You probably don't want to be handing this to like a 3-year-old. They will probably poke someone's eye out, if not their own. All right. Now some of the stuff that I didn't notice. We have this blade. I do not know what it's called. The blade is painted silver, as blades should be painted different than the actual handle. And here's your handle, your grip, and you can tell once again, I'm assuming this is supposed to be some sort of leather. And the way that it is, just the way that it's all etched together, you can tell that it looks like, I mean, it's meant to be grabbed. I'm sure this thing is real nice. And I'm sure it probably plugs directly into something. Like a lot of these Mythic Legion stuff, they do plug in. I'm not sure if this is one of them, but it looks like it is something that could plug into possibly this here. And we'll find out. So then we'll look at this staff that we have here. Now this does not look like it comes apart. Again, I know there are some staffs that do come apart. At least I believe it's Mythic Legion. Am I getting mixed up with... I know AWalk does it. I thought theirs does too. So I could be completely wrong. That could just be something for the... when it's actually molded. So here we have a staff, and you can see the detail on that handle. And I think this is really where you start to see a lot of things that separate them from a lot of other companies. So each one of these is completely different. All right, and even though it's just kind of molded into it, just the fact that, I guess it does plug in there, doesn't it? It shows the detail that they put into everything. And it's just going to kind of go straight down, and you can see that it does create some sort of, not a blade, but some sort of javelin right there. All right. So here this, as I kind of mentioned. See, I was going to be right. I just needed to shut up and... So that makes it an extremely long blade. This is really good for chopping down the tops of trees. And then you have this guy here. You know, he comes in here with a pruning shears. So I have a feeling that in the summer we might have to do some pictures of them cutting down some of the top trees. And this guy comes in here. He's pruning the shrubs and taking care of some other stuff. All right. We got a couple of hands. You got the gauntlet, not the gauntlet, but the guard for the top of your hand. And even on, I just see the nice little detail right there, that they have rivets that are going to hold it on. And it's just kind of a grasping one. All right. No trigger fingers on this. And as I say, most figures I do think need to come with trigger fingers because of the fantasy that they're in. They don't carry guns. So technically I don't think that these figures need any type of trigger finger. And now we have these, what I do believe are pauldrons. So this would actually plug into the back, and it's actually going to go right over. So I'm assuming that once we decide to move this over, I can put this on him. All right, so it's going to match and sit there if we want. Now looking at this here, it is a dragon, and you have these wonderful eyes on it. Clearly you have this chain armor that looks, again, absolutely amazing. Here's the nice little design right down here. And this is, I would assume, supposed to be some sort of leather that's kind of holding it all together. But looking at the dragon here, you got that wonderful nose. You got these teeth, kind of like this mustache, mustache bone coming out, and then all this detail right around the head sculpt. So this thing looks amazing. You know, both sides are going to look the exact same. And this is what I talked about, when you getting your bang for your buck. I didn't expect that there was this much. I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention. Like I said, I just wanted these figures, so I ordered just these 2 figures. As for the figure itself, here he is with these big old antlers that are sticking out, which I gotta say do look pretty awesome. They come off real easy, and then there you have that. So if you want him to have the full face gear like the Mandalorian, you can. And you can even give him some antlers if you want the antlers. And then you look at these things here, and these look like real antlers. I've seen more than enough deer hanging out in my backyard. So I think these look really good here. Kind of see like the bone right there. And the color really fits awesome. And I do believe they're probably just going to mirror each other. No, you know what? They're actually different. I mean, they're pretty close, to be honest. But they're just a little bit different. For the most part, they're made the exact same. And as for, and then we forgot the tail. I was wondering why he had like a question mark. It's not a question mark, it's his tail. But you can see his fur kind of just running straight through it. So that's probably going to go for this guy. Not so much just whatever he is. Alright. But as I keep mentioning, the paint, the detail on these figures, they're just amazing. They knock everything out of the park. And I have not been disappointed with one of these figures that I've gotten so far. Alright, as for the actual figure, we'll take a look at him. I don't believe I'm going to break this guy apart, because I believe it's going to take a little bit more than just a little bit of pulling everything apart, as this overlay here is on pretty damn tightly. Alright, so there is the face that he has. He got these teeth popping up underneath it. You can see his nose. Looks like he needs a little bit of chapstick right there, which we all do, let's be honest. Chapstick is pretty essential in this day and age. At least for me it is. You got the eyes that are just black, which is fine by me. And just all this different paint that we're looking at. You got the black right here, this orange that goes up, the green with what is somewhat of a mohawk going back. But seeing these little rivets, seeing that this thing has been in battle, alright? This guy has clearly had some dinks taken out of it, hitting with some swords, axes, who knows what else. And then, I mean, he's kind of like the bomb disposal guy. I mean, he really is a lot like the, I guess, the Saw Viper version here. He's got a lot of stuff going on here. So, here he has his piece in front. We'll be able to pop that off once we pop the head off, and we'll do that in a second. And again, this is all meant to look like it's pouring onto it, but I like the way that this hides everything underneath it. Alright, so it doesn't look like it's disjointed. I mean, with this one here, I mean, I think it looks pretty good, but you can see where the seams are with that cut right there. You can tell that it's hidden pretty well, so I like that. And then you have this armor, and I love, again, I'll just keep pointing out, these little rivets go so far when you're taking pictures, or if you're just sitting on the shelf. It shows just so much detail that's put into it. The arms are not cloth, but they really do look like cloth. You can see where this is all kind of stitched together, and it has that textured feel of something that is cloth there. And then you get down to the gauntlets. There you got your little clasps that are going to hold this together, and just that paint right there. So, all right, goes up underneath here. We kind of already looked at the leather straps there. Now you have the belt, and again, you can see this guy is not the fattest guy in the world, as he only has one more hole there. All right, and underneath here you can actually put the swords. I have found that out, so we'll probably slide the sheaths right up underneath there so they stay nice and secure. All right, and back here is where the pauldrons are going to pop into if we need to use that, or decide to. He has the soft goods here, wired, the wired skirt, wired dress, whatever you want to call it, which I think is pretty nice. Even underneath, where again, if you're going to take that off to have the cat-like, I guess that makes total sense. But you look at this, his thighs, same design that's up here. And then when you look at the boots here, they look pretty good here. All the way down, just showing you how this stuff, the shin guards are actually clasped onto it. So, again, I don't know how you can really complain too much when it comes to something like this. Alright, as for the articulation, the head can move up that way. Now, this kind of does create a weird look if you're looking at it at certain angles. All right. He can't really look down. I feel like he's already in the down position here, side to side. Now they do give you a sheet to heat this up if need be. I'm not going to do so. We're going to see how it works. There's his T-pose. There's his, he doesn't have a bicep swivel, but it does swivel right at the arm there. No double joints here. He only gets a 90-degree turn. I will reiterate, when it comes to Mythic Legions, stuff like this, you're not paying for this great articulation. You are paying for sculpt and paint and accessories, and I think so far, we've kind of gotten it. He can turn side to side, up and down. He can get a Jean-Claude Van Damme, although this is kind of in the way, but they don't really have a problem doing it. No double jointed knees, so they only go that far. And then you're gonna have your nice ankle rockers. But now let's pop a little bit of this stuff off and let's see how he looks. So pop the head off, and then we can kind of get, does this thing come off? Oh, that piece doesn't come off. So to get this whole, I don't know, oh no, you know what? This is all one piece. So I guess he's supposed to have this on no matter what. And you kind of rip it off. I believe we can pull that out. So this whole head, this whole neck piece is meant to come off. All right. So you pop that off there, and then this thing comes off. So let's say you don't want that on there. You want to make him a nice kitty. There's your kitty, your cat head sculpt. All the way up in the back here is going to be for the tail. Punch that thing. Maybe punch that thing on there. And now, with a look like this, this looks more like his the color of his fur. Even though you can clearly see it's still a suit, it looks more like the color of his actual fur. And now you have this cat-like. We should be able to take all of this off. Like I said, I'm not about to do it. It is a lot of work, and I really don't want that design. It actually looks more like a female cat like this, to be honest, and please don't take offense to that. I'm just saying I think it looks more like a female cat with this garb on. But with this on here, I will say I do struggle to get that tail to stay on, because this is just going to push it off. So when I really thought I was going to use the cat look, I don't think I'm going to be. I think I'm going to be using this one. I do like the antlers though. So let's pop this thing off. I do want this on here. If I can get it on again. And again, I do apologize if you're watching and you're wondering why I do things like this. I like to show you everything you're going to go through. There's a lot of new people coming into a line, and they may not know exactly what they're getting into. All right, and I do have a bunch of Mythic Legion, Cosmic Legion, Figure Obscura videos up there that you can watch. So, and while you are waiting on me doing this, please take a second, hit that like button if you haven't yet. So we're going to throw this on them. Here's our pauldrons. And I'm trying to think of what is the best way to do this. I think they're going to go underneath. Now this is going to definitely, when I can tell, obstruct his hands, his arm movement. But I like these. They look pretty damn badass. I mean, this guy is awesome. So here we go. And I will say this, if you were to heat it up a little bit, probably going to go a little bit faster. just to get this type of stuff in. But if you do heat stuff up, don't heat up both parts of the figures. I would probably only heat up this maybe, and then plug these in. Heating up the figure normally actually works better. The reason for that is if both things are real soft, we know how that goes. You need something hard to go into the hole. We'll just leave it at that, right? I think we all know that. So there's that one. Let's get this one back on here. And the one thing about Four Horsemen stuff, Mythic Legions, is these things are meant to be interchangeable. They're meant to be customized. They want you to go buy these figures, customize them. And a lot of people do. Normally when I order one, I'm ordering it the way that I like it, and I'm kind of keep it that way. If I was all into the line, I have a feeling I would buy a lot more to customize different ones. Let's get this skirt back down here. I'm going to take these antlers, I'm going to throw these up here. They look kind of weird, but also insanely awesome at the same time. I mean, that would be someone to fear right there. All right. So as for the sheath, as I mentioned, we got this little slot right here. I'm going to slide these right in there, and then just going to clamp right there. Now, the one thing I do have to say, and it just makes me really happy, is that the swords are on the proper side, because every swordsman is a right-hander. All right, so they're all going to pull directly from here, even though clearly he has two, and he might be left-handed, but they say, no, we don't do that. If you know, you know. All right. So I will say, pose this figure and then put the antlers on, because the antlers are going to constantly come off. And I might even remove this, to be 100% honest, because I hate the fact that I can't really see the face. All right. As for the hands, just going to pop these hands off real quick, and you can see exactly how easy we can throw this in here. So the hands come off really nice, real easy. The swords slide out, so be careful with that. And then we have our big giant. It's so big that I can't get the thing into full frame here. So this is when you need to cut the branches off the top of the tree. And you're like, how am I going to reach there? The saw viper can't get it. And he pulls out his saw, but you're like, oh, hold on. We're not going to literally hit it with the saw machine gun. We got this. So there you go. Look at that. It's so, I don't even know what to do. I can't get it in the full frame there. But there you go. That is your Gawrychh. And Mythic Legions, yes, you can get some really good poses still. These are ones that I really do believe that you kind of are going to struggle with, just for the fact that they have a limitation of articulation. But big feet make it pretty easy to pose. You don't need stands. There you go. If you like them, Store Horsemen, they still have them in stock. Give them about two plus weeks to ship it, because they are not the fastest when it comes to shipping. At least with this in stock, they weren't. I want this back on them. Get that antler back on. There we go. That actually looks pretty cool. Let's wrap it up. All right, there you go. That is the Gawrychh, the Unpredictable. This might have been one of my most fumbling around videos that I've done my reviews. Sometimes, and the reason why I like to use stuff like that, if you're new to the channel, is because I want people to see exactly how difficult it is when I'm doing something like this, and what you're going to struggle with, what parts you're going to have a problem with. Do I need to remove this stuff? Is there an easier way to do it? I really do things maybe the hardest way possible, but it's to show you whether it's going to be hard or easy. I know. That's what she said. So anyway, there you go. I actually like this head sculpt more than I was expecting, considering I didn't know that this one was in it. I was only looking at the other ones. You order these things and you kind of put them out of your mind, and when they come, they come. Yeah, I know. I keep saying stuff like that. I gotta stop. But there you go. If you want them, Still Horseman, go get it. Now you stayed this long, you're like, I don't know what it is. You fumble around. You're fumbling Larry. But I like these videos. I'm like, hell yeah, you do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to leave the gas bar video right up here, and down here will be a playlist of all the 4 Horsemen stuff that I reviewed. Take care.